Imagine having a mindset that is unbreakable. Imagine having a mindset that you can literally, no matter what happens, you are still more motivated than ever. You're still wanting to progress forward as far as much as you can, and you just never want to stop working. Imagine having a mindset like that. Well, that's the road that I'm on, and in this video, I kind of want to give you guys some tactics and some things that I picked up along the way in order to, you know, really strengthen your mindset and essentially build that unbreakable mindset for an entrepreneur, for an SMMA owner, just for an entrepreneurs as a whole. Even if you don't have an SMMA, you know, having this mindset will massively help you in a myriad of different areas within your life. And that's kind of what I wanted to record this video for today, is just to give you an insight and a few extra tips and tricks in order to really build a mindset like that. As always, guys, just before we jump into the video, make sure you smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. Really does help with the YouTube algorithm and all that kind of stuff. So make sure you do that, and let's get into the video. So without further ado, I want to jump straight in. And I just wanted to cover some things that I picked up along the way that I think a lot of you guys out there can benefit from. You know, really has helped me. And a lot of the time people forget about mindset. And I know, you know, sometimes it does come across a little bit hippified, or, you know, like meditation and all that kind of stuff, which is amazing stuff, by the way. But I know a lot of people have quite bad preconceptions about mindset and meditation and all that kind of stuff. So don't take it the wrong way, but this, honestly, training your mind is just as important, if not more important, than training your body, because your mind controls absolutely everything. So no matter how good you physically look, if your mind is just broken, it's just absolutely terrible, then it doesn't matter how good you physically look. You as a person just are gonna be, you know, you're gonna be down, you're gonna be demotivated, you're not gonna achieve anything in life as a whole. So that's really why I start from the top and go down. So I start with my mind, and I always am trying to increase my mindset and my outlook on life and all that kind of stuff. And then I go down, and then the body, and, you know, going to the gym, which is obviously what I do as well. I go to the gym every day, but that's secondary, you know, because I know that the most important thing, the thing that is controlling absolutely everything that I do, is my mind and my brain and my mindset and all that kind of stuff. So that's what I wanted to cover in the video, because it's a massive important factor to having a successful agency, to having a successful business as a whole, or even just having a successful life. So the first thing, and the most important things, hands down, you know, it's the most important thing when it comes to mindset and kind of training your head, training your brain and all that kind of stuff. Most important things, hands down, is to never, ever compare yourself to other people. I can tell you guys right now, I'm very open on the channel, I have done this, right? When I started out in my journey, and I'm sure if you've watched a few of my other videos, I think I have touched on this slightly. When I started out, I started out comparing myself to other people. I'm comparing where I'm at with my journey compared to where they're at in their journey. And I did this by kind of comparing how quick I got my first, obviously you guys know I'm in SMMA, I got an e-commerce marketing agency. So I started out comparing myself to where somebody else was. So obviously you've got the big like thought leaders within the industry and whatnot. And you know, kind of you'd look at or I personally looked at them and thought, they've got their first client in their first 2 weeks. They got their first client in their first month. And don't get me wrong, that is absolutely amazing, but you cannot compare yourself to them, because their situation is completely different to what your situation is. No matter what their age is, doesn't matter anything about that. Just simply, they might have reached out to one person, right? You guys are doing the exact same thing, but they reached out to one person who just happened to, you know, they just happened to reach out to them at the right time, it was the right fit, just everything was perfect, and they got their first client in their first day, for example. That said, like I say, you guys are doing the exact same thing. It's just that they got lucky, if you like, and you just need to keep going, right? But if you look at what they're doing and you compare yourself to them and think, oh, they got their first client in the first day of sending out emails or whatever it is, and I'm 2 weeks into this and I've still not got my first client. Oh, and then, you know, your mindset instantly goes down. Then you start to look at giving up and whatnot. And you know that, you guys know, the people who are successful, The only thing different about them is that they just tried one more time than the people who failed, right? And that's what you need to have in your mind all the time. It could be that next email that you send out could be your first client. So that's why you can never give up, because I don't care if you've sent, I don't care if you've sent 500 emails. The 501st email that you send out could be your first client paying you $3,000 a month. And that's the beauty with social media marketing. Now, I know that I mentioned that this is, can be applied to all business, and that same concept really does apply to all businesses. That said, obviously with social media marketing, ecom agency, which is what I own, we send out emails and we do outreach and whatnot. So like I say, I don't care if you sent out 500 emails. The 501st email you send out could be your first client. And that's something that you need to make sure that you have always in the back of your mind. You might have just had a terrible run. Your first 50 emails you've sent out has just been to people who just simply aren't interested. No matter how good your qualification process is, it just happens sometimes. That's just life. But the 51st email you send out could be your first client. And if it's not, the 52nd email you send out could be your first client. So that's what you always need to have in your mind, and that's one of the most powerful mindset tools that I can honestly give you when it comes to social media marketing and staying motivated for a long term, for like a long period of time. Next thing is, it kind of ties in with the initial point that I mentioned in terms of, comparing yourself and kind of how long you get things in, how long it takes you to get certain things. But the second thing that I wanted to touch on is patience, because a lot of people, in this industry kind of position social media marketing as an overnight thing. Obviously they're gonna do that because they wanna sell their course and whatnot, and I completely understand that, but you can't take what they say literally, Obviously once you're in the course, I doubt they'll be pushing that it's gonna be an overnight thing, but in order for them to get you to sell you on their course or whatever it is, they're gonna position it as it's so easy, it's so easy, you can get success overnight and all that kind of stuff. That said, don't get me wrong, it's a very, very powerful, amazing business model, and it's the only business model that I highly, highly recommend that you seriously get into and start doing. But once again, the word is in there, it is a business, and no business is easy. No business happens overnight. It's a real business. You've got clients, you've got, hopefully you've got contractor or team members, and you're running a service. It's a real business. So no business is easy. And the fact that people go into this business with that mindset of it's gonna be easy, it's gonna be overnight, I'll be, next week I'll have 3 clients paying me $5,000 a month. Like, just because they go in with that mindset, it instantly decreases their chances of becoming successful, because when it comes to next week and they're not at 3 clients paying them $5,000 each, they're instantly going to go down and think, oh, this and this, and start making excuses, and then they probably start to look to quit. But if you come into this business with the preconception mindset of, it's a business, it's gonna be hard, but I'm willing to stick through. I'm willing to, it's gonna go up and it's gonna go down, but when it goes down, I'm not gonna have that kind of down mindset, if you like, because I know it's about to go back up. And then another good thing is, when it's at high, you've gotta have that mindset of, I know it's gonna go back down, but once it gets there, it's fine, because I know it's gonna go back up. Like, you've gotta have that mindset, and you've really gotta have that mindset going into it. And that's a really big thing that I think a lot of beginners struggle with, and that's why they struggle with the overall mindset of being an entrepreneur and all that kind of stuff, because they see other people signing $3,000 clients, $5,000 clients, might go on my Instagram and look at my stories and see me posting on there, oh, client, you've just received a payment of $3,500 or whatever it is, from Stripe. But they don't realize that I've had maybe 1.5 years, 2 years up until where I am right now in this, doing what I'm doing. But they look at it as like, oh, he's got that, so I'm gonna start it now, and then tomorrow I'll have that same thing, and instantly, you can imagine what happens then with their mindset. I hope that was a good video in terms of, pulling back the curtain on how I look at mindset, and I hope those few tips that I gave you really do kind of ignite that fire inside of you, and you do adopt a few of these things that I'm saying, because I can guarantee that if you have that mindset, there is no doubt in my mind that you will be successful at this business model. It's just literally a matter of time until you are successful if you have this mindset. So it's definitely something that I recommend you start trying to implement, and definitely something that I recommend you start trying to think about as well. So guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please smash that like button. As always, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next video.